Let's get ready for Mike's Night at the Fights.
First to do it, they have been in a state of Alabama where it was based off football. Now it just came for me, but for a lot of people, because we have a lot of fans there in the state of Alabama. You know, I had a lot of people that went to this.
How popular is your daughter in class?
I asked her that before. I said, "Babe, were you popular?" She said, "Yes." And so, yeah, you know, but with combat comes the good and the bad, though. You know, she still with her disability. She still get to the point where whether it's a child or adult, you know, get taunted or whatever and stuff like that. You know, being that she is, I don't like to put her in the spotlight like that because, you know, people are gonna be people. You know, some people are gonna love you, some people are gonna hate you, some people are gonna love me, some people are gonna hate me, and those that hate me are gonna take it out on her because they can't get to me. So, you know, the only thing we can do is pray for people.
Deontay, what type of level of opposition do you have for December 26th? Obviously, Eric Molina, is it a step above Eric Molina, or what are we looking at?
Definitely, we're always looking for a step above the next opponent. But, you know, whoever come in there, you know, it's going to be up to them, what they bring. You know, some may bring fear and then, you know, feel like they can do things when they get inside the ring. Some already had the confidence to get in there. Just because they have a name or they may have done things in the past doesn't mean they're going to do it now. I'm a totally different person when people get in there. All this talk on the outside doesn't mean nothing. All this entertainment because of cameras doesn't mean nothing, because a lot of these guys will do something in front of the cameras, but the next note will go and DM you, man, I'm just doing it for the cameras. So, you know, it's all good and dandy for the entertainment part of it, but, you know, I don't think you can judge a man hard when it's time to fight for that title. When you look at records and stuff like that, I don't believe it.
Did Chris Ariola's last performance take him out of the running with you?
I didn't even see it, so I can't even respond on it.
How about Tarver Cunningham? Would that produce a feature important for you? What you take?
Yeah, all these heavyweights in here. You know what I mean, no opponent is out of the runnings. You know, this is the thing about boxing. You know, nobody is out. You know, so all these names that y'all naming, nobody is out. You know, 1 minute they can be in a position where they're at the bottom, and the next minute, one or two fights, they can be right there at the top, getting ready to fight. So, you know, the only thing I can do is be me, train hard for whoever name is pulled out of the hat, and be prepared and be well ready for them. So that's the only thing I can do. With all the fights that all the high demands of fighters that people want, you know, like I said before, just be patient. It's gonna come. It's gonna happen anyway. You know, once they stand to stop, they keep winning, and I'm at the top. I keep winning. It's gonna happen regardless.
What do you make of Tarver campaigning as a heavyweight right now?
What I make of him? I mean, you know, the things that he's been doing, he's winning. So he's been winning, and you know, I wish him the best. You know, once it comes time to fight for me or fight for a title, which everybody wants, then I wish him luck. I don't believe in luck because luck is for losers. You know, so but I wish him luck because when he fight me, it will be a loser.
Why not Povetkin next?
Why not Povetkin next? Well, you know, negotiations. When it comes to negotiations, you know, it takes a while for things to happen. You know, you have one party one way, you have the other party one the other way. So, you know, it's like a agree to disagree thing, and things come around. But no, he's my mandatory, so I can't go around him. I can't hide. You know, nobody can. So that's why it's gonna happen. So everybody just stay tuned. It's gonna happen.
How is it that Mark Breland is a trainer?
What's that?
How is it to train under Mark Breland?
It's you know, when I met Mark, we clicked at first sight, man. You know, it was like love at first sight. You know, once I got used to his soft voice, you know, it was a great relationship. You know, Mark is definitely intelligent and have a nice boxing IQ. So he was the right trainer for me. You know, some trainers is not a nice fit for fighters. That's why so many fighters, you know, switch up their training. But Mark was definitely a perfect fit for me.
If Cunningham beats Tarver, I mean, obviously he has a daughter who had the heart transplant. As a father, you know, you guys have kind of similar circumstances there. Is there a certain amount of empathy in your part, you know, in that he's sort of like been in those shoes that you?
Oh, definitely, man. You know, he's a man just like I am that love their kids, man. You know, she motivates him, and my kids motivate me as well too. And when people like, when you're fighting for someone, I always felt when you're fighting for someone else besides yourself, because I feel like selfish. But when you're fighting for somebody else, it's a hard man to beat, you know. So I applaud him for everything he's been doing, and his family, and to hear that baby's girl is doing all right, man. Because we ran up on each other one day, and I told him I was praying for her, and prayer changes a lot of things, man. And it's good to see that she's doing great, you know. And I wish him the best from here on up to wherever he's trying to do.
What would you change about the last fight in terms of the preparation in between those fights? I know that you carried a lot of hats for the Alabama fight as a promoter, as a spokesman, hyping that fight. If you came back the second time, what would you do differently the preparation?
As far as fighting my opponent?
Fighting your opponent, preparing for your opponent, not having to be distracted by all of it.
To be honest, I mean, it was everything that's done. Everything that was done was prepared to be done, and everything I've done, I felt like I made the right decision what I did. You know, to be honest, when you're fighting at home, it's a different kind of beast, it's a different kind of atmosphere, because not only you fighting the opponent, but you fighting the crowd as well too. And the one thing where I was super calm and patient in that fight, because I didn't want to get aroused by the crowd screaming my name. I knew everybody was there was going to be for me. So in my younger days of my career, I was all for the crowd. You know, if they booed, I'm like, all right, let's go. They cheered, all right, let's go. But in this fight, that I'm more mature, more experienced, that no matter how loud they scream my name, I was still going to stay calm. I was still going to try to fight the fight. And then, being that Eric, he was a counterpuncher, so I knew that whatever I did, I had to make sure I was smart about it, and that's why I fought a slow-paced fight. I wanted to be smart. I didn't want that to get out of hand.
How was your hand holding? Injured injuries, and it's the burn fight.
It's doing pretty good. It's doing great. It definitely wasn't 100% in my last fight. But right now it's gladiating. I like to fight. I'm not gonna let that stop me from fighting, no matter what. That's just a part about whether people know it or not. Whether they feel like I'm healthy or not. If I feel like I'm gonna get in, I'm not gonna make a bad decision by myself. If I can't fight, then I'm just not gonna fight. But if I feel like the pain is not gonna bother me, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna perform. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because I love to do this. And man, like I said, I'm married to the sport, man. And this is my wife, and I don't want to be away from her.
Deontay, now that you're defending world champion and it's settled in, being the world champion, tell us, how does it feel to own such a prestigious piece of history, and especially being the first American heavyweight champion in a long time?
Man, it's just, when you say that, it just made me reminisce on back when I first won the title. It was a historic moment. One of my favorite fighters of all time, birthday Muhammad Ali. You had Martin Luther King. You had one of the greatest trainers of all time. One of the greatest trainers of all time, Emmanuel Stewart, said that if anybody could bring back a heavyweight title or beat a Klitschko, it'd be Deontay Wilder. And I brought the title back to America. Now, that just poured up the poison. I got to do the rest to finish the other. And then I promised my daughter when she was 1 year old that that'd be a world champion. So it was so many things going on at that moment. And when I won that title, man, it was a great feeling for me.
Parker from New Zealand, of course, the Klitschko. You're a guy who's beat for Mace Stirrer. Does it still bother you that you're not getting your due compared to the European guys?
It didn't bother me then. Before I came champion, it don't bother me now while I'm champion. Like I said, this is a big world. People got opinions. They're going to express their opinions whether they believe in it or not. Some people just want a voice, and so people can hear them. But you got a guy like Floyd Mayweather that's undefeated and did a lot of great things in his career, and they still consider him, not one of the greats. So, I mean, what do you think they're gonna say to me that's the champion, and still I'm in the reign of trying to do a lot of great things in my career. No matter what I do, like I said before, I can fight King Kong, beat him, and then fight Godzilla. There's still somebody gonna say, that wasn't that, or somebody was too old or whatever. So I'm just doing what I'm meant to do. I feel like God blessed me with ability and talent to do it, man. And I'm just going on with that,
Well, if that's King Kong and Anthony Joshua's Godzilla, how important is legacy to you in taking out those other monsters?
Legacy is big for me. You know, legacy is bigger than money for me. I feel like I'm fighting for my legacy because the money, that's automatic. So, you know, when it's over for me, which I feel like I only have 10 years in this sport, when it's over for me, I definitely want to be one of those guys that people say, man, he feared no one. He fought the best of the best. He went behind enemy lines. He brought excitement. He brought the heavyweight division back. You know, I'm trying to make it better than what it was back in the day. You know, back in the day, you know, it was less amount of sports than what it is now. But I want to bring that spark back to the heavyweight division, and we'd have brought, along with myself and a lot of other heavyweights, we'd have definitely spunked it up. We'd have revised it. But it's definitely, far as in my eyes, there's more to do. And I feel once we have one champion, once and for all, it's gonna be great.
Now that your knockout ratio is no longer 100%, do you find yourself boxing more and not really looking for as much, or do you still go out there with the intent to knock somebody out in every single fight?
Well, I'm always had that hunger to go in and knock somebody's head off. That's for sure. You know, you know, I like to display it. You know, I find myself wanting to. I like going around. I like going around as well too, giving people a couple of rounds, giving them at least a little bit part of their money's worth, and then going to knock them out. But I always want to knock somebody out. You know, I just got a thing with putting my faith in judges' hands. You know, many fights we've seen where we knew who won, but when the decision came, it was like a mouth-dropping decision. Like, did they? You know?
Do you feel like that's a double-edged sword when a guy like Chris Arreola takes on Molina earlier than you took him out, but you're giving the fans a longer fight with, you know, possibly more excitement? Do you think that you kind of have an obligation to knock those same common opponents out earlier?
I don't feel like I'm obligated to just because somebody fought somebody earlier and they did what they did to him, and I got in there and did it at a later round to them. I don't feel obligated at all to try to beat what somebody's done. You know, at the end of the day, a win is a win, and that's what people are going to remember, a win. You know, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in because he did that, I got to go and beat him. I just don't believe in it. I'm going to do what we're planning to do, what we're trained to do, and that's that. You know, and go from there. As long as I still have the belt, as long as I still got that win, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Because nobody remember losers, but they always remember winners. My very first mandatory fight. I'm looking forward to that fight very much so. Looking forward to beating him, keeping my title, and moving on. Like I said, my ultimate goal is fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. You know, a lot of people are dependent on, a lot of people count on America, just count on me to do that. And I promise, I gave my word that I'm going to do that. And if I give my word, then it's done.
Deontay, these every one of these fighters that you talk about, these historic heavyweight champions, have always had the passing of the torch opportunity. It's one great story that was handed down to another great story. Again, there's been a lot, even in other countries, you could say the Klitschko's have a great legacy, but people have lost interest in the heavyweight division. If you are given the opportunity to unify the titles against him and you were to beat him, do you feel that it is going to be beating a branch of history like, again, for instance, when a Rocky Marciano beat a Joe Louis or so forth?
I very much so feel that would be what you just expressed it would be. You know, when you're looking at Vladimir, both of the brothers, they've been ruling the division for like a decade or so. So when you have the belts for so long, it's like somebody come on and beat it. It's like almost the biggest thing that happened. That's why I'm so anxious to get in there. To do what I got to do. That's what people hollering out right now. They ain't hollering about these other guys. They ain't talking about no Areolas, no Chisoras, no Shannons, none of that. Klitschko Wilder. That's what people want to see. You know, they want to see two giants, two champions, get in there, unify the division once and for all. And you know, that's going to be a historical moment. I can't wait to see that.
Where would you like to see the fight take place?
Where would
you like to see the fight take place?
I wouldn't mind having it here in New York.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind having that right here in New York. So maybe the Madison Square Garden. I always want to put my name on history. Maybe at the Barclays Center as well too. I'm looking forward to having my debut at the Barclays Center as well too. So, but whether it's Madison Square Garden or the Barclays Center, definitely here in New York.